All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Conquer Cast. I'm Trevor Farnes, host of the Conquer Cast and founder of MTN Ops. This podcast is fueled by MTN Ops, so make sure to check the show notes. There's a discount code for all the listeners. Please subscribe and make sure to make some comments in this podcast episode. I'm super excited. I have Drew Miles, who is the founder, CEO of Tricer, on with me today. And we're going to talk about Tricer. We're going to talk about some Christian ministry that he and his family do. We're going to talk about some things that are much bigger than the hunt. And this is an industry that both Drew and I are in, the hunting industry. We love it. We love the passion of the hunt. But I think we're cut from the same cloth when it comes to wanting to make sure that we're attending to things even outside of the hunt with human beings and God's children. I want to talk about that today with you. So, Drew, thanks for being on. Appreciate you making some time.
Man, thanks for having me on, Trevor. Yeah, I got to meet you in Africa, of all places, this year, and we definitely hit it off. And you were definitely probably my favorite dude from that trip. Just get to know, and it's like you're very, we are very similar in a lot of ways. And I just left there like, man, that guy is just so awesome. and like this podcast, I mean, plug to you guys. I am fueled by MTN Ops half my year, anyways. Because I sleep in a tent half the time. So
that's awesome.
Pretty hooked on that new, like, what is it, like Hush Bear? What's the new Hushin' one? It tastes like
the Summit Surge. Hydrate, or it comes in Hydrate Ignite. Yeah, that flavor has just knocked it out of the park. I mean, it's hard to keep in stock, to be honest with you. So
yeah, I like the Bugleberry. That was my favorite. And then I went with Eric from Hush to Alaska last month, and he had that one, and I was like, oh wow, this one's like the, are you guys, am I allowed to say Baja Blast? I mean, it kind of reminds like the Baja Blast.
It kind of mimics that flavor for sure.
It's good. It's really good.
No, I'm glad you like it. I'm glad that we can fuel your adventures. And quite a place to meet up with one another in South Africa, of all places. It was an incredible hunt where many, brand founders and such from the industry gathered together to hunt, but also to do some charity work in some schools, orphanage, out in the dump with families that were there. I wish we could have spent more time there, but it was just awesome to get to know you, your son. I watched you as a father on that trip. I want to talk to you about how you lead in your home, because you're doing some pretty incredible things. Your son, Simon, as I mentioned before we started, he's 12 years old, but very mature for his age. In fact, he talked to me on the way to the airport about, I think, books. He asked me about my book, and then he was asking about books I've read that are Christian-based, and he wanted to implement one of them into his reading club, his Christian book club. I don't know what he was calling it, but, a 12-year-old asking some of these questions and having that as like something that's important to him at this time of his life is critical for like the world that these kids are growing up in, and to have that kind of focus says a lot about you and your wife and the way that you're raising your kids. So I want to talk about all of this, and hopefully we have enough time.
Yeah, we'll get into everything. Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely not a perfect dad, but we could talk about our parenting and what we do and how I fail, because I definitely fail. That's for sure. So,
well, and the thing about failure is it's opportunities to learn, right? You test, learn, and apply. Test, learn, and apply. And I'm sure you do that with your business as well. But tell us a little bit about Tricer real quick. Not quick, but I mean, give us kind of a snapshot about what it is, and then let's dive into the history of it.
Man, so I've always been like an engineer type, but I mean, I never went to college. I grew up pretty kind of poor, but my dad started a sheet metal company when I was like 14 years old. And I would work for him. He'd have me work 85 hours a week at 14 years old. So hard work was something I was kind of forced into. Yeah. But we never had a lot of money. So like if I wanted a BMX bike, I would have to go to the swap meet and buy a bike and put it together and buy parts here. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, you're getting Diamondback and Haro and the whole, everything GT, putting it all together, building bikes. Same thing with dirt bikes, right? Like I didn't have the money to buy a new dirt bike. So I had to buy like an 80s dirt bike in the 90s and put it together and make it work. So I've always just been mechanical in that sense and like building things. And then with our sheet metal company, we never had a ton of money there either, but we built it from, the garage to 80 employees when I finally left last year. But I was always having to design and make like if I wanted a machine, sometimes I would make my own machine or make something that would do similar things. I'm having to buy the, $1 million machine or whatever it is. We can find ways to do it. So I've always been innovative in that sense. I had a couple patents. I patented something back in 2012, a little widget that actually kind of funded Tricer.
Wow.
Um, I have a machinery patent. I designed to create a machine, drew it on a napkin, and within a year we had a machine going. We've sold
Oh,
like
wow.
50 of those machines. Just it's like an automated machine. And then back in 2018, my father-in-law, who at the time was 330 pounds, and he was 70 years old then, I guess it'd be maybe a little bit, maybe 72, 72 or something like that. He wanted to draw a bull tag in Arizona, and I'm like, okay, you're never going to hunt elk, right? Like you just don't understand what it takes to kill an elk. It's not like you're sitting in a blind, right? And so I'm like, put in for this unit in Arizona. You'll never draw it. And then sure enough, with 1 point, he draws a bull tag in Arizona, and
Wow.
I'm like, oh my gosh, like now I have to take him hunting. And I told him, I was like, hey, I'm not taking you unless you get a personal trainer and you get in shape.
Mm.
And that went over really well with my wife and my mother-in-law, right? So he's telling them, he's all pissed off. Who does he think he is? And I'm like, you don't understand, like, I can't quarter you out. Like, I have to get you out of the mountains, right? So long story short, he ends up getting a personal trainer. And by the time we get to the hunt, he's down at like, he's already lost 50 pounds. He's down at like 260.
Awesome.
So he lost 50 pounds for the hunt, but he's still not in the best shape. So I'm carrying around at the time, I'm carrying around like my outdoorsman's tripod, his outdoorsman's tripod, his rifle, his optics, everything. And it's just super heavy.
Mm.
And I remember I was sitting on this rock and I had the idea for this tripod. I was going to make my own tripod. I've never been like a tripod guy, right? Like I literally shot my first deer in 2016. I've hunted most of my life, just on my own. Like I got my own license when I was 13, kind of found people to bring me along. My dad never hunted. So I decided to build a tripod and I came home, made a prototype. I should cap on that hunt. On that hunt, he did end up killing a bull on the 6th day. It was that hunt. That is a hunt that changed his life. He actually weighs about 220 pounds now, hikes every single day, and we're going back to that same unit. He drew it with 7 points this time.
No way.
We're going back to that same unit this December. We're filming the hunt.
Yeah, cool.
And we're going back at 77 years old, and he is way better shape now at 77 than he was at 72 to
Wow.
go back and do it. So that hunt did change his life, did save his life. You guys will probably see him. He's definitely at all of our shows. He works our booths. He goes to tax for us and stuff. Seriously, Barry, that's
You
the
at the Hunt
father-in-law.
Expo?
He'll be at the Hunt Expo. Yeah, he goes to the Hunt Expo. He loves going. Like he loves like bragging on Tricer, and he loves being
Cool.
a part of it. And it's really neat having him along. He does a lot of hunts with me too. I bring him. We went to Texas this year, went to Mexico. He's going to go with me to do the boys hunt in November, and then we go straight from there over to an elk hunt for him. So we go deer then hit with him. So he's along at every hunt. And he just keeps getting stronger and stronger, every year. It's pretty wild to watch.
That's awesome.
But anyways, I came home, made the first prototype in my shop, and it was this ugly like thing with like electrical conduit, but it worked, right? It worked. And I kind of held on to it. I wasn't really ready to go with it yet. I didn't feel like God wanted me to do it yet. And I know what I wanted to do. And I ended up going to my partners in 2019, the ones that I had started the other company with, and said, hey, I've got this idea. I want to try it. Right. And so we started making these tripods, and they really weren't good tripods. I mean, they were good, but not like they used trekking poles for legs, which is awesome. But like the first ones used 3 trekking poles, so you had to bring an extra trekking pole, so that kind of didn't really go over well with people. Everyone kept saying like, "Oh, a guy with 3 arms," you know what I mean?
Yep.
And I am kind of like you said earlier. So I'm trying to my phone's dinging over here. I'm trying to do not serve on. Similar to what you said about failure earlier, how you learn from it. I am very like competitive in that sense. And like when I fail, it just drives me to want to do better. Right. So when everyone's bashing me, right. So I started this thing, and then in the beginning I got hammered by a few people in the industry as well. I mean, people were just talking
Like
crap on me
like on social media or
on
like
social media, everything, right. Just getting smashed. I mean, I had one guy that like, whatever. He had a really cool bipod that I liked, but I wanted to make it taller. I wanted a bipod that went from like prone to kneeling. That was my goal, right? And so I made an adapter for his bipod. And well, this guy reached out to me like, "Oh, would have been nice to know you're using my stuff." Blah blah blah. I'm like 2 weeks into business, and I'm just like making a wheel for a truck. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything illegal. And I was like, "Man, I'm so sorry. Like I look up to you so much. Like let's talk on the phone." And so I gave him my number and email, and so he had his lawyers come after me to cease and desist.
uh,
Um, and which was nothing because they couldn't do anything to me anyways. But I was like, man, like I'm going to remember that. Like I'm going to, so now we have a new bipod out. We're going to sell like 30,000 of them this year. Right. So it's like, it took me 5 years, but like, that's got things that motivate me. Right. Um, so anyways, we started making these really not so great tripods and losing a ton of money. I mean, we're just losing money, losing money, losing money. We ended up selling some real estate that we owned to fund another idea for Tricer, another tripod, and some other things. And then slowly but surely it started catching on, man. And like we started making some stuff that people really wanted. We came out with our pan head, which is a 4-ounce pan head. I mean, that thing, we sell thousands of them a month now. I mean, everyone wants the best pan head on the market, you know? And then I started coming out with the inverted like tripods, and just from there, it's just been like wildfire. Like God's just taken hold of it and just truly blessed it. I ended up leaving my dad's company, which I was the heir apparent to, supposed to take it over. I left there 2 Mays ago, so a year and a half ago almost now. Um, we still don't talk very much from that. You know,
That's
I
hard.
was supposed to take over his company, and I left to do this because I felt like God was calling me to do it. And then since then, I mean, Tricer's got like 35 SKUs, man. Like everything I create turns to gold. God blesses it, and it's just been incredible to see what God's done with it. And we give a percent of all of our gross profit, or our gross sales, not profit, gross sales goes to my foster ministry. And now we're giving, you know, 6 figures to my foster ministry every year. And it's just like, it's unreal to see what's happening. It doesn't even make sense to me, dude. Like it doesn't make sense that I can create this stuff. And I'm like the tripod guy now. I never
Yeah.
thought I'd be the tripod guy. Right. But I mean,
Yeah.
apparently that's where God wanted me to be, was the tripod guy.
Well, it
And, I
sounds like he
always,
fired you up on the mountain when with your father-in-law, right? There's
yeah, yeah, and I actually went back and filmed. I remember the rock I was on. I actually went back and filmed a little video on that rock last year, and got all choked up and cried. I know you're a crier, Trevor. So, uh,
I guess we call it
I'm,
sweaty eyes. Yeah.
yeah, you're a sweaty eye guy. So I got up on on that rock, and I just, man, I could not believe it, and I actually cried talking about it on this video. But like,
That's cool.
and I'm sure I'll choke up as you're refilm this next hunt. But yeah, man, it's just like, I feel like I'm just walking in God's anointing right now. It's
Mm,
been really neat. And I know that like we'll talk about bigger than the hunt and things I'm doing.
yeah.
Like I know that I'm doing this. Like my legacy will not be tripods, right? And I meet with my team all the time. We have team meetings. I actually have a guy that runs the company for me now, and I tell the team whenever we meet, and I'm just like, look, I'm not gonna remember for tripods. That's the last thing I'll be remembered for, is being the tripod guy, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to do things that will change the world and help make it a better place.
Yeah.
And if tripods are the tool to do that, then I will walk in that anointing, and I will build every freaking tripod I can, and I will be as competitive as possible, and I will just, I don't want to say crush my competition or crush the industry, but like I will just freaking build tripods, right? Like, but this is going to come out, like I can't talk about it. I have some new stuff coming out that's just so
Yeah.
good. It's coming out in like November. It's coming.
November.
It's so good, dude. It's so good. I
Well,
don't want to
this
take away.
this
Yeah.
this podcast will launch probably in we're about a month out, so maybe not quite November,
All
but
right. Well, I have some new tripods coming out. Like I have upgraded. I'll talk about it. Whatever. I don't care.
we can hold it. We you can talk
No,
about
you
it.
can launch it. Whatever. We launch it. Like we already have the best selling tripods out there, and I just made them so much better. It's not even funny, right? And
Are you
not
able to talk
because
about what you did? Because I love your tripod right now. What I mean, it's super lightweight. I packed it around on my hunt with my son just a week and a half ago, and we used it. We love it.
I fully redeveloped the tripod. The same. It'll be the new. It'll also be called the AD and BC. We have our main glassing line is the AD after death, BC before Christ, and JC Jesus Christ. So we have the,
Oh,
BC,
love it.
JC, AD. We are undeniably Christian. We have scripture in every box we make. We talk about God in everything we do. If you don't like it, don't buy our stuff. But to me, it's funny because we live in this like politically correct world where like I see the blessings in talking about it way more than I do in like trying to hide it.
Yeah.
Right. And if you don't like it, then I'm sorry, don't buy it. Right. But we've upgraded the center column to what I'm calling the Tritech center column. It's a fully custom designed center column that gives us the smallest footprint in the industry, uses a lever lock. The tripod's about 1.5 inches shorter and about the size of a Nalgene lid, or maybe the size a little bit bigger than like a soda can,
Mm,
round. It just packs better,
wow,
more stable, and that'll be coming out here like in November. You'll start seeing those
that's
things
awesome.
drop. We're not changing. We're charging the same price for them as we're charging right now for these ones. Even though it's way better, it is undeniably the best tripod I've ever used. I just had Cody Nelson call me, who's like the glassing guru from Go Hunt, and he's like, "Dude, this tripod's unreal." Um,
That's awesome.
it's coming out, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, man, that's what Tricer is in a nutshell, man. It's a tool for me to be able to bless the kingdom of God and do really cool things.
I love that. I love, and I wish more people saw business as a resource in life to bless God's children. I mean, I think a lot of people do. but
Yeah.
you're very intentional about it, and you don't want to be known as the tripod guy, but the tripods are a resource that allow
Hmm.
you the additional resources to do what you need to do for God and for His children. So I absolutely love it. I think about how you started this. You said you didn't have a lot of money, so you just, if you needed something, you went and you bought things and you put it together. And some people may look at that as oh, that was a harder childhood. I would say, what a gift.
Hmm.
Do you ever look back on that and say, okay, this is where my mind started working the way it does, so that I could do what I'm doing now? Or
Oh yeah, man. Like I grew up very rough. Like my mom was a drug addict, my dad's an alcoholic. My mom left, my dad raised me, basically like raised my sister from like fifth grade on by myself. So I had to grow up really early, right? Learn how to do these things. And you know what I mean? Like I would get off of like, yes, my dad's very functioning, right, as an alcoholic. But
uh,
like I would get off of school at 2 o'clock, and one of his employees would pick me up every day in high school, and I'd go straight to work till 10 p.m. every night. Like I was destined to do that. And
well,
so it gave me a work ethic that's just like unreal, right?
yeah,
Which is a good thing. But there's also some really bad things that happened in my life growing up that I would never wish on anybody,
yeah,
that I don't want to do for my kids. But there are some things like my dad did form who I am, like it or not. Like your childhood forms who you are, good or bad. And you got to take the best things out of it, right? And you're going to go through things in life. And you can either like get kicked down and be like, oh, woe is me. My mom's a drug addict. And, you know, or you can be like, let's figure this out and do it. Like you can only play the cards you're dealt. You know what I mean? And some of us are dealt harder cards, but yeah, man, ended up getting my girlfriend pregnant at 19 years old. You know, my dad moved out. My dad left our house when I was like 17, moved out with his girlfriend, and left me in the house. So
wow,
my girlfriend moves in. I ended up buying my first place when I was 19, um, and getting my girlfriend pregnant.
mm,
At the time, I was an atheist. I hated God because just there's
really,
all the whole Jerry Springer lifestyle I grew up with. I mean, there's so much more there to unpack for people
wow.
listening to this right now, like on like how I grew up and the things I went through, the things I saw, the horrible things I did. Um,
So God was not a part of your childhood growing up.
Not at all. No, not at all. And I get her pregnant, and I'm like, well, we're gonna keep it because like my mind, I'm like, I'm 19, let's get an abortion, right? And thank God she was like, no, I'm a Christian, and I'm like, what do you mean you're a Christian? God, this first time I've ever heard of this. We've been dating for 2 years. Next thing you know, she's like, she wants to go to church. She's a Christian, and so she dupes me into going to church, man. This foothill church right by my house on Easter in 2006.
Mm.
And I went in there and it was weird. And
What
that
was
was
weird
it.
about it?
It was just, I've never been around something like that.
Just not normal for you.
Not normal. I was the most unforgiving person in the world. Like I grew up like just fighting, like literal fighting. Like, I mean, like I was just like a very
You were in survival mode throughout your
survival mode. Yeah, my whole youth, right? Like just fighting kids, fighting people, fighting, taking my sister out of bad situations, protecting her, like
life.
adults not doing anything for me and having to do things like, you know, I mean, my mom had a boyfriend who was walking around with a gun in his mouth, right? And like would sit in the bathroom, like hold me behind doors, have razors to his wrist, and like crazy things. And I remember having to like no adults doing anything. And my dad didn't even know. So I had to like take my sister out of this house like midnight and like go and call someone to come and get us and then tell my dad about this stuff. You
Wow.
know what I mean? Like just like crazy stuff like that. Like, and there's so many more stories like that. But anyways, so I started going to church, and I remember when we were talking about our wedding, I was like, I want nothing to do with God in our wedding. And by the time we got married in June, I was like, well, you could pray, you could pray. You know what I mean? And then
This was
my wife,
2006.
2006, yeah, that my wife ends up having the baby in 2006 in September, and when he was born, I was just like, there's a God. Like I remember like there's a God, and that son today, praise the Lord, I didn't abort him, is now in ROTC for the Air Force, in college to be a lawyer. He just got back from a 6 month mission in Kyrgyzstan. Like it's like
Wow.
it just changed my life, right? Like and then like from there, like it was crazy because like I wanted to be like I just went hardcore. Like if you can't tell about me, I'm very extreme, you know, and like I'm like just jumping in. Like
Oh,
I'm walking into bars and doing bar ministry. Like I'm like it was wild. Like I always
oh.
told everybody I could about God, right? And
So it was the birth of your son that kind of
it was
put
just a combination of all this stuff. Yeah, we started going. We had him, and then we started going to a Bible study. And I remember like being like, "What if I'm not Christian enough for the Christian club? Like I'm not gonna fit in here." You know what I mean? And then just like God got a hold of my heart, man, and like I just got radically saved.
what did that
And
feel like when you got hold of your heart? For those that maybe are going through something similar and they're trying to figure their relationship with God out, or
Man,
maybe they know about him, but they,
it was so slow for me, right? It was like this, like just shedding of layers, right? And it was all the stuff peeling back. And I remember like the final time I got down on my knees and I prayed, and I just remember like God's presence come on top of me and just feeling that and like crying, weeping. And I would never cry, right? Like I was so hard. Like I was so hard. Like you don't understand, like just in protection mode, right? And just, man, I went to Bible college for a year. I was going to be a pastor.
wow,
And then I remember God telling me this kind of full circle Tricer. All my peers, all my peers are all senior pastors. My best friend's a senior pastor in my church now, right? His dad was mentoring all of us at the time I started doing a Bible study, and I wanted to go in ministry. And I remember God told me, "No, you're going to do business." And I remember crying at the beach and telling my friend, like, "I'm going to do business, and I don't want to do business. I want to do ministry."
huh,
And like, I'd never understood it, and I ended up working for my dad forever, which I should have quit 15 years ago because it's an abusive relationship, verbally, the whole thing's just not a great place to work, right? Just kind of held under his thumb, never got to walk my potential. And like, man, like it's like this year I finally realized, like, oh man, like I understand what God was doing, because now I'm able
mm,
to give this money to this thing. I'm able to do these things that God called me to. And then full circle, eventually I'm going to go full time into ministry again. My goal is to like, I don't care about money. Like I don't, like I need it. I mean, literally I live homeless half the year in a tent, right? Like I don't need much. I always joke with people. They're like, what do you do for a living? I'm like, I'm like part-time homeless, I live in my truck, So
what
eventually I'm going to go
think
back to full-time
God,
ministry.
God's like, when He speaks to you and He tells you you're gonna be in business and
Yeah.
you want to be in ministry, and you don't understand at the time like this is going to be a way to get you into this full-time ministry.
Yeah.
How does that feel? What does that look like? How do you hear God's voice in your life? What is a decision like that? How does that roll out for you?
I definitely don't have an audible voice. I definitely don't have like, "Hey, Drew, what's up?" Like in my
Right.
bedroom. Like I don't have a figure show up. I just have like very strong inclinations, right? Like I just know what I know, right? Like even with like that's why I'm so bold with Tricer, because I know that I know that I know that God is involved in this thing. Like I'm just a dumb kid with no college degree who everything I create turns to gold right now.
Hmm.
Right? Like it's just, and that's God blessing it, right? And that's like, man, we decided we'll get to my foster ministry too. We decided 2 years ago to give a percentage of all of our gross sales to my foster ministry, and the next month my sales tripled.
It's awesome.
Right, like it just tripled. Right, and then now, and then like that, then last year my sales, I quadrupled. This year we're going to triple again. Right, and the next year my goal is to double. Like it's just been this exponential growth that makes no sense for some stupid kid out of San Diego who doesn't know what he's doing. Right, like I literally all the time, like I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just making tripods and people buy them.
Yeah.
Or like I came out with the bipod, and it's the best selling bipod in the country.
Hmm.
I mean, we can't like Shields calls me, Bass Pro Shops calls me, Sports Warehouse calls me. Like I'm not even having to try; it's just happening, and that's not because I'm just some incredible businessman. It's because God is blessing it, and I'm just
Yeah.
walking in that anointing and just being His hands and feet in what I'm doing.
Love it, man. That's awesome. I mean, our number one core value here at Mountain Ops is recognizing God. So I love it when somebody that's seeing success, or somebody that's in the valleys of life, recognizes that God is there and God is the strength. He's the reason for the success. He's the one multiplying the loaves and fishes. I mean, your story going from maybe a hard heart to a open heart to God is pretty incredible. Maybe a Saul to Paul type experience.
Very similar. Paul's definitely up there in my favorite. I think of like Peter more, just because
Okay.
they always say they recognize he was an uneducated man, and like
Mm,
that's kind of like more like me, right? Just dumb enough to do something for God. But I
that's
do love Paul. I love that Paul is never willing to quit, right? Like Paul gets beat up in town, they drag him outside. The guy gets back up and walks back in, right? Like I'm a New Testament preacher. Like you hear me preach, it's going to be like that kind of stuff, right? Like I love that stuff, man. Like
yeah, that's
there's no
incredible.
quitting you. Like on every package we have, it's my life first. It says, "Do you not know that all who run a race run, but only one achieves the prize? Run in such a way that you achieve the prize." That's 1 Corinthians 9:24, and it just means like if you're going to do something, give it everything you have.
Mm.
Give it everything you have. And that's kind of what leads up into Tricer and like how this whole thing culminated. I'm going to turn my AC on because I'm sweating right now. Hold on. Sorry, San Diego. It's still 90
Good.
degrees over here, people.
You're good.
Turn the AC down a little bit. So that's kind of what leads into Tricer, right? Is and how I know, this whole my foster ministry and it all kind of tied together. Um, is in 2018. I felt called to. My friend was teaching at church. Again, all my friends are becoming pastors. They're all becoming like leadership. I had to watch, like, I love college age. I had to watch, a kid that I mentored become the pastor of the college ministry. Right? I'm just like, it's breaking my heart. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, this is supposed to be me. I want this to be me so badly. And I was sitting in church, and at this time, we had our youngest kid is now like 5 or 6 years old. We're kind of like, we have 4 kids at the time. We have 5 kids now. We'll get into that. We have 4 kids. And when they get to 6 years old, like, things get easier. I don't know if anyone listening to this has kids. Kids under 5 are hard. They're just trying to kill themselves all the time. Right. And by the time we get to 6, things get a little bit easier. We were traveling a little bit and like,
Yeah.
we were trying to enjoy our life. And I was like, felt really content. And I remember God telling me in church, he was doing the message like, you need to do something hard, like do something hard, do something. And I felt like God told me to do a foster ministry. Like, I don't know. And again, not an audible voice, but I got up and I said, I got done and I told my friend who was preaching, I said, hey man, God wants me to start a foster ministry at the church. I don't know what that looks like. We're going to do conference, we're going to do all these things. I've never done foster care in my
I was
life.
just going to ask, you've never been involved or
Never
around?
been involved. Never in my life. I'm going to do foster care. I'm going to be a
Was there
foster.
something in the message at church that day that
It was just something about doing something hard, like not being content. I can't remember the whole message. Something about like doing something hard. And God told me to do a foster ministry. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do a foster ministry. So I had all these ideas of what I was going to be. And so I get all these foster moms together. And we ended up creating like a support group. In my mind, I was going to just like get all these kids adopted. In the first month, a kid got adopted out of that group, which is really cool. So if that was the only thing I ever did in my life, like, I got a kid adopted the first month from Hearts for Adoption, this foster ministry. And it started doing good. And they had, people, there was no, it's weird with foster parents, like no one supports them. Like they kind of like, everyone likes like, oh, you didn't have that kid. But it's so much harder than having a kid. I'll get into how I know that because I became a foster parent through this. So time's going on, and this woman came to speak at our group. It's once a month, like the first Friday of the month. This woman, Lanny Barnes, came to speak at this group, and she was working for a foster agency in town. And man, like we left there, and I was like, Lauren, my wife, like we're gonna foster a kid. Like so we get into this process of foster care, which is like the most intrusive thing in the world, right? Like I'm a leader through and through. I don't need anyone's help for anything. They want every serial number on your gun. They want to go through your house. You can have any knives out. It's gnarly. It's like the most, like if you're a conservative, like I'm just going to assume, if you're a conservative, like every right that you have, like you can just lose it. It's very hard for a staunch conservative to become a foster parent. Right. Wow. And, so anyways, we go through this process, and about a year later, we get a call at noon, like, hey, we've got this baby. He's just born. He was born 2 days ago. He was pause talks. Do you want him? And so by 2:00, that's how it works. By 2:00, we have a baby.
Wow.
We have a baby, right? And bring him home. We did our Bible study that night. We had a Bible study at my house at the time. I was teaching that. And man, it ended up being the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, Trevor. Like I wasn't a crier. And then so I started doing this. Like, and the weird thing was like my church wasn't really helping me because they just think like I don't really know how to ask for help. Right. Like, so I've got this kid, and when you're a foster parent, you're doing 2 visits a week with mom and dad. Dad lived in Mexico, so we have to go to the border to do that visit, the consulate. Mom's homeless. You're meeting her all over the place, right? You're having to do.
They didn't come to you. You go to them.
Oh, you go to them, dude. Yeah, you go to them. You have to do lawyer visits. You have to do doctor's visits. You have to do social worker visits. You have to do your care visit, right? Your visit from the agency, right? Every day of the week, you got something going on.
Wow.
We're drowning. My kids, my 4 biological kids are drowning. We're homeschooling all of our kids, right? This is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Not to mention, we had to go through 8 different social workers, and we thought we were losing them so many different times. I mean, talk about like having a kid. It ended up taking us 1,300 days to get him adopted, and we thought we were losing him like 5 times in that, right?
Was the plan when you brought him into foster care with you to adopt?
There's no such thing as foster to adopt. When you foster, it's always reunify as the plan, but we were always open to adopting. Yes. Okay. Gotcha. So let's keep going on this thing. So 2019, we get Dylan. 2020, someone comes to me and is like, hey, my friend is starting this foster ministry called Restoration 225. We want you to bring it to Foothills because you have this foster ministry at Foothills. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to go to this foster ministry meeting, and I'm going to take what they're doing and bring it, because this is me like of course, I'm just going to do more because I'm already struggling. Let's do some more for other people. I'm going to go to this ministry. I'm going to bring this ministry back to my church, implement it in my church. And I go there, and there's this woman named Jennifer Hall and this man named Jerry Hall. And Jerry is, if you told me Jerry was like a billionaire with a B, I'd be like, I understand that. They got called at Chris Tomlin concert to start this foster ministry. No idea what they're doing either. We end
Mm.
up going to this meeting. They're going to self-fund this thing. It's like $300,000 a year to run this thing. They're going to fund this ministry. And I go there and I'm listening, and she starts talking to me. We just met, and she goes, wait a minute, you're going to be our first family. So I ended up being the first family that they supported, Restoration
Wow.
225. And
Wow.
what Restoration 225 is we come along, we unify the church to help foster kids throughout San Diego County. So we find a family who's a foster family, and we help them with whatever they need. And we find a church. We go, okay, you're on Main Street. Well, there's a church on Main Street. We call that church on Main Street. Hey, there's a family on the street from you. Want to help them?
Mm.
And so we've actually worked with about 160 churches in San Diego. We have about 40 core churches that work with us.
Wow.
And we help hundreds of kids now. So what we do is we help whatever the needs the family has, not just like show up and give you some presents, right? Like, anyone can go drop some presents off on Christmas and feel good about themselves. What they did is they came along the side of the Miles family, my family, and said, what do you need help with? And we said, well, they always bring a dinner once a week, which is awesome. Now you feel like someone's supporting you. They pray for you. They talk to you.
Wow.
We do that no matter what. But we said, we can't raise our kids. Like, we need help. We can't do soccer anymore. My kids are on tablets because we can't, you know what I mean? Like, we can't raise them. We're in all these meetings. And so they started coming and taking our kids to the park. Or to Jennifer and Jerry had a big house at the lake. They bring them to the lake, right? Like, getting Jennifer and Jerry as our people was awesome, right? Because they're just like hooking it up, right? Because Jen and Jerry are awesome, right? And it just changed my life, right? And they ended up asking to be on the board, right? Because this thing is just starting. We have no idea what we're doing, right? This is 2020, it's during COVID, right? In California. And I remember meeting with Jerry and telling him, like, man, Jerry, I want to learn how to give like you. I've always known God wants me to give. And he's like, I've never heard that before, because Jerry got saved in like 2018. He already had his millions of dollars, right? And he got saved and started giving. He's like, I never heard somebody who wants to give with nothing. I had nothing. I had nothing to give. Like, at this point, I'm like rubbing two nickels together. I'm raising a family. I'm making decent money. I'm not like making enough money where I can give, 6 figures to a foster ministry like him. And he's like, man, I never heard that before. Well, long story short, Jen and Jerry left, moved to New York, give me the ministry. I'm board president, and they're like pulling their money back. And we're having to figure this thing out. That woman, Lanny Barnes, who I met in 2018 that talked about foster care, is now my executive director. I'm the board president, and Tricer's given 6 figures to that ministry, dude.
That's so amazing.
Isn't that wild?
That's awesome.
Isn't that wild? Isn't that neat? Like, it's just so cool to see. And we're helping, like, our first quarter alone this year, we did like 4x amount of kids that we did all of last year, right? Wow. And we're so underfunded, right? The government wrote us 2 grants specifically for us, for our new care portal ministry we have, where we like instantly help people, and then they didn't give us the grants. so I said, like, we don't need the government's help. We're going to find a way to do this. We're going to find a way to help these kids, and we don't need the government to do it. We could do it on our own. And man, God's been blessing it ever since. And now I'm starting another program called Bigger Than the Hunt to kind of bring more money to this cause.
Yeah, it's so amazing to watch and witness what God will do for people when they let Him prevail in their lives, when He becomes the most important, force and factor in their life. And it's similar in my mind to the young lad with a few loaves and fishes. You went to Jerry and you're like, hey, how do I do this? I've just got this, And,
yeah, dude.
and that's incredible. Tell us what you are doing with the Bigger Than the Hunt, because obviously you're very passionate about hunting. I see you doing it with your children. You just got back from. Let's do that. Let's talk a little bit about what hunting's meant to you and being in the industry and doing that with your children, and then what is bigger than that? What is bigger than the hunt? I obviously it'll come back to what you're sharing, but
yeah, 100%, man. Like I said, I grew up pretty rough. My dad didn't hunt, but I grew up like watching, like in SoCal, right? Like, so there's no hunting out here.
Yeah.
I grew up watching like the Outdoor Channel. Remember, like,
what drew you to it? Just you saw something on the Outdoor
I just wanted to be outside. Yeah, I just wanted to be outside and hunt. I wanted to learn how to do it. So
a lot of kids would be like, oh, I want to be outside, and they go out and they hike or they skateboard or they bike or whatever. Was there somebody that you saw, or what was it about hunting that drew you in?
I don't know, just that bloodlust. I don't know. don't know, man. Like, I just wanted to do it. Like, I used to go hunt rabbits in the hills, like my pellet gun. Like, I'd go.
Yeah.
I was that kid that was just shooting every bird. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? No matter what it was, I just wanted to hunt. And
Cool.
so I didn't know what that meant. So I ended up getting my hunting license when I was 13 on my own. Just found a place to do it. Went and took the class for myself. Took it, and I found like some of my dad's friends to take me out. My dad didn't hunt, so I found people to take me hunting. So I bird hunted
Such a
forever.
big self-starter. I mean, and from an early age, most people wouldn't, take the initiative at an early age to do that. But it's incredible what you've done.
Yeah, thanks, man. Like I always wanted to big game hunt, but it's so intimidating, right? Like I didn't even start doing that. And I ended up going on a pig hunt like 2014, and that just like once I put an animal in the crosshairs, like versus just shooting quails and doves, I was like, oh, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
Like once I got that experience of a stock, and like it was like, oh, it's on. Like I
And
love
that was in
this.
2014.
That was 2014. I ended up killing my first deer in 2016, right? Like I'm definitely a late bloomer. What is it,
We're
adult
on the same
onset?
schedule, man. I started
Are we?
2014, first deer in 2016, I think, as
Oh,
well.
perfect, dude. I actually looked at the tag last night. The tag's hanging in my garage. And I'm like, gosh, man, it's almost been 10 years since I got that first buck. And
Yeah.
it's just like, dude, it's funny because I kill so much stuff now. And like, I've never been more excited than that first year.
Mm.
I've never been more excited than that first year.
What was it
And
about that first year?
dude, I don't just, it took me 12 days. It was so much harder to get it done. You know what I mean? Like now it's like, I don't want to say hunting's gotten easy, but like, it's gotten a lot with a rifle now. Like if there's deer around, I'm probably going to kill something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's just like,
Yeah.
it's, and the kill doesn't get me excited anymore. It's more the adventure and doing things with my
Yeah.
kids.
Sure.
But, man, like I don't want to say I want to do everything opposite of my parents because I want my kids to have hard work ethic. My dad did teach me a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
Um, but hunting for me has just been a tool to bring my kids into very difficult situations, make them suffer, and learn how to be men. Right? Hunting for me is like putting my kid in a truck with me for 16 hours and driving to Utah, right? Or
Mm.
and then like having to suffer, right? For like we just did this, we just killed a bull up there on a general tag with a rifle, my 17-year-old, and it took us 9 days, and we almost saw two elk the whole hunt.
Huh.
And like it was a suck fest. It was like we'd have action like the first 30 minutes and the last 30 minutes a day. That was it. And then other than that, we were just laying there. Like it was like, and
Mhm.
you couldn't glass. Like it wasn't like which I'm the glassing guy, right? Like
Yeah.
it
Well,
was
and
just
some of the hardest things for people to do these days, we're information rich, time poor, opportunities calling our
yeah,
attention in every direction. Like one of the hardest things for anyone to do, myself included, is to sit still,
yeah,
and for
yeah.
youth to sit still. Yeah. What is there a lesson in that you use to teach your children, or?
Oh yeah, 100%, man. Like it's we just talked the whole time about that. We talk on the video about it. We film all the stuff now. Like it, everything good in life is hard. And you have to endure and have patience and do it. And like you just have to know, like on a hunt like that, like every time we zigged, they zagged. I kept telling them, like, dude, we are going to kill a bull. Right? On the general tag, we're gonna if we continue to do what we're doing, we will kill an elk, right? We just have to keep doing it because you just know it's gonna work out and it ended up working out. And and hunting I think has been probably the most foundational thing I've had to raise really godly men and strong men,
Mm,
right? Like, dude, like my kids have more grit than anyone. Like people hate my 17-year-old now. I fly him all over the country to run booths for me, and my
mm,
employees are like, dude, like how do you get your kid to do like this? And be like, it's like, dude, we
wow.
just hunt together and do hard things together. You know what I mean? Just
Isaac.
work it. That's Isaac, yeah. It's Isaac, yeah. And little Drew's the same way. I mean, Drew's like he's just unreal. Man, we're having to tell him like we had to tell him like, hey, stop working. Like he's doing like honors, or he's doing ROTC for the Air Force. He wants to be in the military. His whole goal is like he's going to go through school, go in the military, become a lawyer, then become a senator. That's his whole goal. He has like his whole life planned out.
He has it lined out, man. That's
He
awesome.
has it all planned out, and I'm like, God's gonna change that, son. But like so he's also working every weekend, working throughout the week, doing things. I'm like, dude, you gotta settle down. You're working too much, right? It kind of created a monster in the work ethic space
Yeah.
with him. But yeah, man, hunting has just been a way I've been able to do that, and just having them in the field, and just I've made some major mistakes hunting with my kids that I've learned. Growing. Simon's gonna get like the real benefit of my.
What
Plus, I'm
would you
such a
say? What are some of those mistakes? Because we do have a lot of people that are either getting into hunting, or we have a lot of hunters that now have children that are growing up. They want to start hunting with them that listen to this podcast. What are some mistakes to avoid?
I think for one, going too fast with some of them, like trying to rush them. Like the first kid is like your test dummy. Like, you don't have to have him shoot right away. You know what I mean? Like waiting until like I waited until Simon was 12 to take him out. Like my first kid is still so recoil shy, At 17, it's crazy because I was forcing him, like, I'll shoot that shotgun at 8. You know what I mean? Like, do this stuff, like, trying to get him out there. I learned how to make things a lot more fun, right? I learned how not to push him as hard, right? Like, we were out this week and I had a guy filming and like, and we should go up that ridge. Like, yeah, let's go up that ridge. And I was like, you know what? Let's not. Like, why push Simon that hard? Let's just wait here. And we had to wait and then end up killing another buck, having more patience. Cause I used to just run him into the ground. You know what I mean? I've learned that kind of stuff. And I learned how to just make it more fun. You don't have to make them completely suffer with these things. You know what I mean? And I've learned, like, one of my biggest things I do now is like use a big heavy rifle. I mean, like, first kids were like shooting 243s, which doesn't sound like a big rifle, but when you're, 10 years old, it kicks like a mule, and you weigh 60 pounds. I got little skinny kids, man. It kicks like a mule. Now I'm having them shoot a 14-pound 6.5 Creedmoor, off a tripod locked in. So it's super heavy and I'm just carrying the gun for them, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of things I've done wrong out there. I mean, I lose it out there sometimes too, man. Like, I've had some stuff in the mountain where I've yelled at them and I'm just like, what am I doing? We're not even, how is this even fun? Like, why am I yelling at them for missing a deer? You know what I mean? Like, just
what's one of the more critical lessons you've learned as a father out in the outdoors with your children?
Man, I think the most important lesson I've learned as a father and the children out in the doors is, I just mumbled that thing, is, man, that time goes by so fast. It's going to be over in a heartbeat, Trevor. Like, my son is in college now, man. Like, my last hunts with him were last year for a long time. And it's like this year, like, my 17-year-old, I have him on like 4 different tags because I'm like, you're going with me everywhere. I'm going to hunt with you and we're going to enjoy it. Because, man, like, after this year, like, he's going to go off and he's going to spend 6 months in Africa next year, do missions work. And he's going to come back. And then, yeah, I'm sure he'll hunt with me a little bit, but he's going to get married. He's going to have kids. He's going to do all this stuff. And, like, man, enjoy it. Enjoy every bit of it. Enjoy having fun with them. Enjoy the looking through the binos backwards. Enjoy the, Simon's boots coming untied. Like, don't let it annoy you. Like, it is going to be over in a heartbeat. And people tell you that all the time. And I never realized it until like last year when it was like, dang, dude, this is Drew's last hunt. And I don't want to say it's his last hunt, but like, I don't know when Drew is going to go hunting with me again. Like, when is Drew going to have time? He's got 6 years of school at least. He's going in the military for, I think, 6 years of service, right? Like, when am I going to go hunting with Drew? Like, it's going to be over in a heartbeat. Enjoy it. Like, just enjoy it, man. Like, like Simon missed this week and I was just laughing. We wouldn't kill the deer anyways. Like, it's like, man, I remember like the kids missing us being so bummed out, like mad at him. Like, what are you doing? And like, I was just like, whatever, man. Like, who cares? This is fun. This is a circus. It's supposed to be a circus, man. You're 12 years old. You're supposed to freaking sail a deer by 2 feet. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, just enjoy it. Like, and I think that's the biggest thing, man. It's just, it's going to go by in a heartbeat. You're going to miss it.
Yeah, I'm experiencing that as well on my side. Time is fleeting, and I watch as my children. Time for me, the most visual like representation of time going by fast is watching my children grow. Like, I still feel kind of the same, but then I watch their lives progressing and passing, and it's like, wow. So, I mean, perfect advice for me and for everyone listening is to enjoy that time, that attention that you can give your children. It is fleeting, and enjoy it. Don't take it too serious. If you sell one over the back of a deer, laugh about it and move on to the next, right? So
man,
that's
we're
great.
not trying to kill giants. We're trying to have fun, right? Like, I mean, Simon did shoot a pretty big and probably a $160 buck last week. His first buck's pretty good, but like, dude, if you shot a forky, just as stoked. Like, just have fun with them, just enjoy it, man, and just make it enjoy. If you want your kids to love what you do, make them love it. Don't make them hate it, right? Like, I want them to enjoy being out in the woods with me, not be like fear going and missing a deer. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, and have fun with them and enjoy it because it's going to go away. And that's one of my biggest downfalls was I worked so much. I used to, right? Like, I was working before the boys were born, I was working 7 days a week, and then when I started Tricer, I was doing 16 hours a day. I was getting up at 4 a.m, driving an hour to my dad's shop, working there, driving home, and then working until midnight every night, sleeping like, I don't know how I was sleeping 4 or 5 hours a night. It was God, because like, I don't know how I was working, sleeping 6 hours and still going to the gym, still doing all this stuff. But man, think about like how much I missed in my kid's life. I was working so much, right? Like, that's why I say all the time, like, I don't care about money. Like, it's the experiences for me. Like, you don't need a lot of money to go out and enjoy your kids.
So
you don't need a lot of money to go get a freaking deer tag and spend some time in the woods. You know what I mean? And enjoy it. But if you work your life away so you can get a RV and a boat, then you need a lot of money to do that stuff because you're putting it all
Yeah.
into that stuff, man. You get yourself into debt, like you're gonna miss out on the important stuff. Your kids will have just as much fun in an aluminum boat as they will in a $150,000 wakeboard boat. I
Yeah.
promise you.
Yeah.
And dude, it'll be sweet to get a nice boat. Like I'm gonna buy a boat next year. I don't think I spend that much money, but don't get me wrong. Like they have just as much fun going to the lake and just fishing off the shore as they do going, out in the ocean. Like and that's what we miss. We think we have to have all these things. We have to have dirt bikes and all this different. We get so caught up in consumerism that we miss the kids that are right in front of us. Right.
Mm.
Like I go to the skate park with my son every day, the bike park, and I just sit there and tell him good job, man. Like today he dropped in on the freaking half pipe, dude. 6 years old, kid dropped in. This is Dylan. Oh, we should go back to that.
Yeah.
So 1,307 days later, Dylan was adopted by the Miles family, and Dylan is now 6 years old. He is a complete psychopath. Backflips, front flips, jumps off the roof of my house into the pool. Like the kid's 100 miles per hour all the time. Races dirt bikes. I mean, he's just wild. That's why I bring in the bike. That's
Sounds
why I
like
bring
so
in.
gifted, huh?
What's that?
So gifted, it sounds like.
So gifted. It's one of the things like genetically he's so much more superior to my children. Like my kids, I'm decently athletic. My wife is not. I feel like my kids like almost all except for my daughter got my wife's athletic skills. Like they're like you throw a ball, it bounces off their hands. You know what I mean? Dylan's like scoring goals, catching balls, like hitting like whatever Dylan does, he's good at. It's pretty wild to watch. But he's got so much energy. So we go to the bike park every day. I'll take him for an hour and he just rides. I mean, it's 90 degrees, he's sweating but it gets all the energy out of him, right? He gets all those jitters out of him. He's just,
Oh, cool.
if you don't do that, he's just burning things down. Like literally, he's just crazy. He's all boy.
At the skate park, huh?
He's all boy. Yeah, dude. He's all boy. That's for sure. But yes, we adopted Dylan. So yeah,
cool.
man, that's us,
Congrats
man.
on that too. That's amazing. And so, yeah, you've got an incredible family. You're doing amazing things with them. I know you do ministry trips with them, missions with them.
Mhm.
We just talked about hunting and how important it is. Incredible lessons, as we both know, that we can learn out in God's creations and looking to God and feeling connected to Him and those we're with. And now you're putting together something that's bigger than the hunt.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So, like I said, I don't want my legacy in this industry to be tripods. I want to be helping people. When I die, I want them to be like, man, that guy made a damn good tripod. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a tool. And so what I put together now is I've got my team at Tricer putting together bigger than the hunt. And I want my team to do it because I want them to do something outside of just tripods as well to get them excited. And I tell them all the time, if you do this, don't worry, God will bless the rest of the business. Watch, it just always does. And so what we're doing is I want to bring the whole industry together, not just Tricer. Not like when you guys see giveaways sometimes, like it's like, hey man, you can't have that Vortex optic in there because they've got a Leopold optic in there or Leopold tripod in. Like what I'm doing that on this is like, hey, screw all that. Like we're all going to work together as an industry. This is bigger than the hunt, bigger than our brands. I want to invite outdoorsmen. If you listen to this outdoorsmen, I want you in this. I want 2Vets tripods, whatever, MDT bipods. Like I don't care. This is bigger than the hunt. What this is going to be is a multi-brand collaboration. It's the first year we're doing it. We're going to do a giant giveaway. Hopefully people will put it on their sites, right? Like MTN Ops will be involved and you can go to this. Yeah. Every $10 you put in goes straight to help my foster ministry to help children. And you'll be able to win awesome packages, right? It's bigger than the hunt. And it'll be MTN Ops and, wilderness athlete, right? Like it'll be like, it's not like, oh, I can't have both. And the reason we're doing that is because like, we can compete all year long, but when it comes to these kids, like, oh, so I gotta get choking up. Who cares?
Yeah.
Right? Like those kids didn't choose. Like Dylan didn't choose to be born the way he was born and have his mom do drugs, and he didn't choose that. Right? Like this is bigger than my competition. This is bigger than like I will gladly put my competition on my webpage for this. I don't care. This is bigger than the hunt. This is bigger than our businesses. This is helping children. What I want to do is inspire an industry to help kids. I'm trying to work with like Mule Deer Foundation a little bit with Sheep Show as well. I think I'm gonna meet with Sheep Show to do an auction. Like I want to do an auction where all you win is a stuffed sheep, and all the money goes to help kids. Like you know what I mean? Like and like my team's like we should put together something. I'm like no, you don't understand. Like I don't want to put together a sheep hunt for this. This is bigger than the hunt. Like this money's going to help children.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to do. Like that's what I want my legacy to be in this industry is bigger than the hunt. And I want to inspire my peers like you, Trevor, like all these other brands to come together and for at least one cause let's work together and not compete, and let's
I
do
love
something
it.
bigger than the hunt and help children.
That's
And
cool.
then we'll see where it goes from there, right? My team's already talking nationwide and stuff. And I'm like, well, for now, it's going to help kids in Southern California, which doesn't matter where the kids are for me. Like, I'll give money to Africa. I don't care. As long as it's a child, um, that's what's going to help. Because, like I said, like we were denied $2 million grants for my ministry. And we need that finance. We need those finances bad because we're growing so rapidly. And I think God's going to provide it through this.
That's so cool. Well, well done, man. I think it's incredible, and I think we do need to put the competition aside at times and see that we're all human beings. We all are and there's enough pie out there for all of us to have a bite and have
Mm-hmm.
success, and then we can come together and support each other in something good. And so, count on Mountain Ops to be a part of that for sure. um, I've had similar dreams and visions of, a day where the industry comes together. I've called it in the past a day without food, where the whole industry goes a day without food, and then whatever
Mm-hmm.
we, had would have spent on food that day, we put it towards Operation Conquer Hunger and feeding hungry
Yeah.
families and children. And I just feel like, with the right people on board, mountains can be moved, and God's influence will be upon it. And so grateful for your example in that regard. I think it's incredible. So, yeah, when do you plan on launching that?
My goal is December. So they're starting to launch now. We're filming a few more videos. My goal is December. It'll be a whole month long deal. We're still figuring this out. This is like year one, right? This
Yeah,
is year one for this thing. It's going to get bigger. But there'll be all these awesome packages together, and you'll just basically go on there and be like, here's $100. You're going to get 10 entries into this thing, and there's going to be just sick prizes, right?
that's
And all the money goes directly to help children. It goes directly to Restoration 225, my foster ministry, and I don't touch it. It goes directly to them, links to them, and it just every penny you give goes to help kids,
so
right?
awesome. And
And
if people shop right now on Tricer, is there a portion of their proceeds, or how do you
we
fund?
give a percentage of all of our gross sales go to help kids. Yes.
Okay, very
Yeah.
cool. So
So we
I just
write like the checks we're writing now are like shocking. It's like, wow,
that's amazing.
that's a big check. Like,
Yeah,
remember I told you I had no money to rub together, and then like, I was asking how can I do it, and now I'm giving, and I'm like, oh man, we're giving almost as much as you were giving now. Like, we're gonna get there. Like, as a brand, which is really, it's the most important check I write every month is that check,
yeah, I
and
love
that
that.
that check will never go away. That check goes to help that ministry, and it's been really neat to see. So like, that ministry is run so lean. We've only have one full time employee. Everyone else is like part time or volunteers.
Yeah,
We're running the whole thing on like 350 grand a year, helping thousands of kids a year, like 1,600 kids last year. And we're just like,
wow.
it's just growing and growing and growing. And the problem with foster care, man, is it's just an ever ending cycle, right? It just keeps going and going and going. And we're doing stuff now where we have a new thing we implemented called Care Portal. And what that is like you go on there, and you probably have Care Portal in Utah. You probably have Care Portal in a lot of places you guys are actually listening to this. If there's a need, we fill it right then. So the government sucks. We all agree right now the government sucks at foster care. So like when it comes to foster care, like I said, I got done within 2 hours. No one tells these children like, "Hey, we're going to do a drug raid at midnight. And we're going to pull you out of this house." So they go into a drug raid, and all of a sudden there's a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old in this house. Well, now in the morning, these kids are ripped out. They're going to a home, and now this guy's got a 13-year-old daughter or 13-year-old girl in his house. I don't have stuff for a 13-year-old girl. You go on Care Portal, hey, this is what I need, and we'll meet that need right then,
No way. Wow.
instantly. Whether you need beds, whatever it is you need, because and we're working now. We've infiltrated the government. We're working with, I think right now, 6 government agencies. We've actually turned down 4 of them because we don't have the finances to do it. Because the government, like we as the church, have infiltrated the government because we're better than they are. Which we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be taking care of widows and orphans, and we're not. That's our number one calling is help widows and orphans. And now the government's coming to us because, like, if they want to do it, there's so much red tape. They could take them 3 weeks. This kid needs a bed. We'll have you a bed like that. I mean,
Wow.
within 24 hours, we'll bring you a bed, we'll bring you food, we'll bring you gas cards, whatever it is you need, we're going to come in there and hit it. And that's what Care Portal is.
And
And that's
Care Portal is like who fulfills those needs? It's there's just
churches throughout San Diego County
churches. Okay.
or people. Like, you can go on there and see that need, you can fill the need. Bam, done.
Wow.
Fill the need. We run Care Portal. Well, all we are is a tool to unite the church to help children,
Wow.
right? Like, there's thousands of volunteers across Utah. We just need someone to network those people together to help those kids, right? And that's all we're doing is using that tool. And hey, I've got this need. There's a kid down the street from your house, Trevor. You want to fill it? Done. dude,
Wow.
yeah, I'll give you a bed. Like, dude, Trevor, I wouldn't even build with Trevor on there. He's been giving beds away left and right. I know what Trevor is. You know what I mean? But like, it's you're talking about people who are the most vulnerable people in the world. These children, the most horrific. I'm not trying to make people like cry or whatever, but like broken femurs, burnt by cigarettes. They were God created them to be loved and nurtured and have great parents. And some of these kids are being sexually abused by their parents or their uncles or the boyfriends or whatever it is. Like little kids,
Mm.
they don't deserve that. And if we, even though it's hard, and foster care is the most difficult thing I've ever done, like I would do it 10 more times. Like, how can I help these kids, most vulnerable people who God created, to get through this? Because yes, it's tough. Yes, it's inconvenient. But man, can you imagine being that kid getting ripped out of his house from his parents who are supposed to love him at 2 years old? Right? Like we met with those kids in Africa, right? Do you think those kids, like, you know what I mean? There's kids in Africa, you guys, who are like 3 or 4 years old that Trevor met in this foster home 4 years ago. They were babies, and now they're still there. Like, man, that is not fair.
Yeah.
Right? And like, yes, it's inconvenient. And yes, it sucks to give money. And yes, it's not the best thing, but man, like that kid didn't choose that. And like, how can I help that kid? And that's what I want. That's what my legacy is going to be, is how can I help that kid to do something great? Right. And then choke dubs are a crime. And that's what I want it to be. So how can I help these kids? Like, what can I do to help that kid, man? Cause if I hope I die poor. That's my goal. Right. Yeah, I just want to die poor. I don't need it, man. I just want to die poor and help as many kids as I can, man. And like, that's how we change the world.
Yeah, I agree. What's your son's name? The one that you adopted?
Dylan.
Dylan. What has been the biggest blessing of Dylan in your life, or being able to love and care for Dylan?
The biggest blessing for us is having him be who God created him to be.
Mm.
Like he is a fireball, but he's also super sensitive. And man, we talk all the time. Like my wife's like, she thinks he'd be dead, but like if he was in the home with like his mom was a prostitute, right? And in a home with pimps and bad guys, and the abuse he'd be enduring, you could see how he'd be such a bad kid because he's pretty naughty, even though he's in a Christian home. Like he's still naughty. I mean, that kid's like a spanking magnet. This kid, he just loves spankings apparently, right? Which I can spank him now. I couldn't spank him when he was in foster care, but if you don't like that, I'm sorry. Meet Dylan. But like, man, like he gets to be who God created him to be. We get to raise him to be, and that's the biggest blessing, man. Like that kid is like, he was meant to be in our family. Like he's there, he's with us everywhere we go. And it's just, we're so blessed to have Dylan in our life and be with our kids and see my kid. Like when we were getting Dylan, my daughter was like unionizing my kids. Like, we can't do this. They're bringing this kid in here. He's gonna take from us. And dude, like seeing my daughter's heart change towards Dylan and my daughter become a mom basically at, now she's 15. Like, and I tell people all the time, we were not foster parents, we were a foster family. It took a whole family to do this. That's what I didn't realize until you do it. It affected everybody.
Yeah.
And man, that kid is through and through a Miles. I would turn the world to sand for that kid. Like, and that's what that kid deserved. He deserved to have a parent that would turn the world to sand for him. And so many kids don't have that. And that's the biggest blessing of having Dylan, is just like, man, we get to see who God created him to be. We get to see this fireball who's like dropping in at the skate park and doing all this stuff and just singing worship songs like crazy and just like, awesome, man. Like he's just I'm so blessed to have Dylan. I would stay in foster care for 100 years to have Dylan. I would give up all my guns, all my rights. I would do it over and over again. It was the hardest thing I ever did. I would freaking walk through coals for that kid. Like it's so blessed to have him in our life. So blessed.
I love it, and I love your parenting approach, and I'm sure each of your children feel that way. That they get one of the greatest blessings to see Dylan be who God wants and needs him to be. I, that's an amazing environment for your children to grow up in. That each of them can, know and see, and you can help raise them into the potential of who God needs and needs them to be, sees them to be. It's amazing, man. Thanks for sharing all this. I know there's a lot of intimate details there, and stuff that I didn't know about you and what you've done and what you've sacrificed or what you've suffered through, and the benefit and blessings that come to your family through that. What I typically ask a question to end our podcast, and you've kind of been answering it, so I don't know if the question is, when all is said and done, as a conqueror in life, which I believe you to be, how will you measure your life? And I would, you've kind of been saying what you want your legacy to be, but if there's any other way that you'd want to put it, or say, how would you measure your life when all is said and done? And maybe another question to go along with that, you say that you're a preacher of the New Testament, and you're what's something that you're learning right now that you would share with others about just going through life and how to find the right path in life if somebody out there is struggling to do so.
Something I'm learning in life is how to slow down.
Okay.
I got rid of social media. So I got
Really?
rid of, well, yeah, man, like I have like hate pages about me now. It's awesome. Like I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle all the, like, there's burner pages. There's people who don't like me. Like just being in the industry, like you just become a face, right?
Mm,
And I was just so consumed by it. And so I was like, this is pointless. And I thought, like, I can't be on social media. Like, if I'm on social media, we're never going to make it. I have to be on the face of the company. And man, I got rid of that in like April, or I think April. And that was one of the best things I did this year. I started reading paper books, sitting down and reading, resting a little bit more, taking
wow.
my time, like slowing things down has been huge for me.
Mm,
And I would say the way I'll measure my life is how much of me is left when I'm dead, right? Like I want to give it all. Like how much can I give? What can I do? Like I'm going to Africa for 17 days in 2 weeks with my daughter and my son, and I'm bringing a team of kids over there, and I'm teaching a whole message on this. I'm teaching a message on reproducing reproducers, and like, how can I change the world, one kid at a time by, giving myself, and what can I give to? Because man, like I'll tell you what, you go and give, there's nothing that feels better. There's
mm,
nothing feels better than giving your time and serving and doing things, and it's that's the whole point of life, right? Like God didn't create you to be consumed by social media and business and all these things. He created you to better his kingdom and grow his kingdom, and that's it. That's the bottom line. And if you don't believe it, try it, and you'll believe me. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know, man. I've already told you on my legacy is not going to be tripods, but I don't know what it's going to be. I mean, in 20 years, maybe I'll be doing something else. I don't know, but
so cool.
I know it's something bigger than this right now, and I'm just excited for it, man. I feel like every year as a Christian, my life has gotten better,
Mm,
and I don't look back like I wish I was back in my 20s or my teens. Like it's just like it's gotten better, and it's exponentially better, and I'm just walking it out, and you going through sanctification, which is the process of going more and more like Christ throughout your life. And man, I don't know where I'm going to be when I'm 50, but it probably won't be where I think I'm going to be. That's for sure.
yeah,
But I'm
yeah.
willing to take that adventure and see where God takes me.
Mm. One of the greatest adventures, I would say, the greatest adventure of a lifetime is the adventure of discipleship, and so thank you for sharing the story. It's incredible. I think of back at the beginning of an hour ago, you're talking about the hard heart that you had and grew up
Yep.
with. Now the open and very generous heart, a God loving heart, where you are. A quote comes to mind, and it states that a man filled with the love of God is not content with blessing his family alone, but his desire is to range throughout the whole world, anxious to bless the human race.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could put Drew Miles next to that and say, that's the heart that you have. That's the heart you're demonstrating. And so I look forward to seeing where the next 20, 50 years takes you, and what you continue to give over this lifetime of service that you're offering. So thanks for the example. Thanks for the time today. Anything else you'd want to end with? Are we good to wrap?
No, man. I just you're an inspiration to me. I love everything Mountain Ops does. I love everything Mountain Ops stands for, and I support you guys. Whatever you guys need from Tricer, we're here for you guys. Just getting to be around you. You're the real deal, man. You're awesome.
Appreciate it. Right back at you. You're the real deal, and I appreciate this time. Let's get a hunt on the books. Maybe you and a son, and me and my son.
That'd be
Uh,
fun.
let's do something next year. So,
That'd be fun. Awesome.
okay, thanks, brother. Appreciate it, everyone. Thank you for listening. I know you've been inspired by this. Please share it with someone you know that might need to hear this, and please subscribe and help us continue to grow this podcast so that others can benefit from the messages that we're hearing of conquerors like Drew Miles. Thanks, Drew.
Thanks, dude.